Alright, I'd like to discuss the COUNTIF function. This is going to start a group of videos where we talk about different types of if functions like SUMIF, or just a regular if, as well as a nested if. In this particular example though, I want to talk about COUNTIF. Now, if we're familiar with the count function, we know that it counts the number of values in a particular range. And this function, the COUNTIF function, is going to do something very similar, except we can add a piece of criteria. So I can say only count where this particular item is true, or this is false, or this is greater than a certain number, or this is less than a certain number. We have lots of different options. So let me show you how the COUNTIF function works. Of course, I'm going to start with an equals, and I'm going to type COUNTIF open bracket. Now, in this particular example I have on screen, what I want it to do is I want to count the number of x's in a particular range. So in this case, the first piece that we want based on the screen tip is the range. And so my range would be from B3 down to B10. And I'm simply going to select that with my mouse, and it puts in that range. Then I'm going to add in a comma, and that's how we separate the range from the piece of criteria you want to meet. Now, in this case, the criteria is if the cell contains X. So, because that's text, I need to put that criteria in quotations. So in quotations, I'm going to put X, and then I'm going to close the bracket. So if we read through this, here's how it looks. Equals COUNTIF, and then the range you want to count in, so that's this range here, and then the criteria that you would like to count based on. So in this case, I want to count the number of X's. You'll notice when I hit enter, puts in the correct value of the number of X's we have there, and this formula will, of course, update. If I delete one of them, it updates. If I put it back in, it updates. Now, I'm going to show you another way to put in this count function, simply because it can get a little bit complicated with these if functions. We may need a little bit of help using our insert function button. So I'm going to start typing COUNTIF, open bracket, and then I'm just going to go up to my formula bar here and click this insert function. And that's going to actually pop up the COUNTIF function and give me a description of each piece. So you notice the first thing it says the range, so I can tell it the range of cells here. So this is going to be from C2 or C3 rather to C10. There we have the range. And then criteria, again, it gives me criteria that I can meet. Now, because I'm doing it in this box, I don't actually have to include the quotations here. I could just put the letter X, and it knows to add the quotations to the formula. I'll show you that in a minute. So when I click OK, again, the formula gets added. There's the X in quotations. I didn't have to worry about putting it in. Now, of course, with this COUNTIF function as well, we can fill that across to do the other columns. And there you have it. So keep in mind, we can use that insert function button to give us a little bit more help when we're dealing with this COUNTIF, or if you're comfortable typing it out yourself, feel free to do that. Now, we've used a comparison with X. Keep in mind that other symbols that you can use apply. Greater than is, of course, acceptable. Greater than or equal to. Less than or equal to. Not equal to is represented by a less than and a greater than side by side. And you can use all those different types of operators there with that function.